Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning to Grand Tactician, the Civil War, a new tactical and strategy Civil War game out by Oliver Kuppelmuller. This is episode number 8 of our Let's Play. It's playing as the Confederacy, and in today's episode we are starting off with the Battle of Fredericksburg. The last episode ended on August 16th, 1861, and today's episode is starting on August 17th, 1861, a couple of minutes into a live stream on my Twitch channel, which picked up from the end of the last one, but it was basically just hitting play and then immediately ending up in a battle. The Union is advancing on Fredericksburg. We have had two armies fall back there, the Army of the Shenandoah and the Army of Northern Virginia, after our defeat up near Manassas in the last episode. And so we have two corps, or two armies here, which actually outnumber the Union force that's advancing on us by about 2 to 1. So I'm going to see if we can win a victory against them. The Army of Northern Virginia isn't here yet. It's just the Army of the Shenandoah under Joseph E. Johnston at first, and we'll see how things play out. But yeah, we outnumber the enemy about 2 to 1, and I'm hopeful here. I'm hopeful we can turn the campaign around here in late 1861, drive the Yanks north, and maybe make an advance back to Manassas. But we'll see how things play out in this episode. We'll deploy along this fence line here, which is actually on some elevated ground. Then we'll use the sort of the rear portion of this fence near Hawking's farm. And then Cooper is going to deploy in a single line on the left using this fence line to refuse our flank. And Stuart is going to run smack dab into the enemy and pull back. So Stuart has found the enemy coming down this roadway as we expected. Make sure to withdraw now, Stuart. Don't get yourself too shot up. So they'll probably come down this roadway, which I think actually means Pond's position is not the best, but Cooper's position will be pretty solid. So let's actually move Pond up here on this high ground. And then Cooper can stack here on the left. We'll go from there. You know, Stuart, are you dead yet? Because I really hope you're withdrawing. I should have ordered you to skirmish or something. Don't really want Stuart fighting these guys too well. He's got decent weapons. He's got Merrill carbines, so they've got high rates of fire. But against enemy infantry, that's not really what we're looking to do. Interesting thing is these guys aren't really shooting back as far as I can tell. Federal cavalry's charging forward here. Hey, Captain Flack, Lord Optic. Lars, thank you very much for the sub. Appreciate the 10 months of support. All right, Stuart. I did order you to fall back, so, you know, do that. And then I guess we'll speed things up a little bit. All right, here you go. Stuart's pulling back now. You can see a bunch of infantry brigades coming up. He'll pull back to this wood line, or this hill here on this road, where we will set up. Can we set in skirmish? No. Okay. Let's switch you guys into double line. I keep changing my mind on what I want to do. And then move you guys forward here on this high ground. Cooper, you're going to stack up behind Stuart on this elevation here. So I guess it's not much of an elevation, but there's a narrow elevation there, and we will meet the Federals head on. We'll hopefully stack him up on the roadway, and then we can hit him in the flank with Pond's troops before they can really get themselves spread out in any kind of cohesive formation. A white, thank you very much for the Prime sub. Appreciate the support as well. Is that 2 subs in 1? How does that work? All right, Longstreet and the boys are moving through the woods. The Federals spotted Stuart again. It is almost nightfall. You can see them kind of jamming together here. And then actually, did Beauregard arrive yet? No. It's been an hour. Oh, there he is. He's coming on the field over here in the east. All right, PGT. Get your corps into action. The problem with doing this and ordering the entire corps to move is they're all going to move along one road, which means they're going to move very slowly. But I'm not too worried about that. I don't need him. All right, the enemy set up some batteries of artillery, which I believe are probably bombarding Stuart here. You can see a lot of dust being kicked up by Federal troops that are moving around in these woods, which are not well. We don't have good line of sight because it's rough terrain, and we're trying to get Cooper into position. I'm going to speed through the initial phase here of this deployment because I'm going to assume the enemy's not going to launch a twilight attack here. They are moving a battery of artillery, a couple of batteries of artillery forward for whatever bizarre reason. And our own troops are getting into position. Johnson looks like he's hanging out with Cooper. And pretty much just sort of light skirmishing at this point. Why are they moving their batteries forward like that? Do they not know I'm here? Oh, no, they're firing at me. Go take those guns, Jeb. Oh, shit. Like, maybe I should not accelerate too quickly. All right, Jeb, go charge those guns. Become a cavalry hero. Sabers out, boys. 2 batteries of guns. Small batteries, about 75 men between the 2 batteries, but 200 cavalrymen charging them down should be enough. They're not meleeing? The enemies. Oh my god, canister just ripped into them. Okay, boys, that was a lot bloodier than I would have liked. I don't understand why you're fighting so poorly. We're gonna get hit by more canister fire, aren't we? Be nice to get rid of 2 enemy batteries, though. Especially when they only have 9 guns total for the intel, so this would be the bulk of their artillery. They've got 1 other battery over here with 5 guns, so they've got more than the intel said. Stuart routed the first battery here. And now you're in range of enemy infantry, aren't you? And Stuart's broken. Well, 1 battery's broken. Another did suffer a fair number of casualties here. For the cost of breaking our only cavalry with Johnson and perhaps disgracing Jeb Stuart. Okay. So Stuart's breaking. Give him the rally order. See if he can save his boys. And then where's... So actually the lead division's coming up nicely under Beauregard, under Walton. They gonna come after me at all? I don't really want to launch a twilight attack here. Right, so we drove back 2 batteries of enemy artillery. But there is one more coming. Okay. Wonder if Johnson's boys are in poor shape. Right, so they actually did one of their batteries. I guess they added some infantry to go back and get the guns we drove them off of. So it looks like they actually have about 15 guns total. We just have the 1 battery in position here. Rockbridge's artillery with the Parrott rifles. We're gonna have Walton come up here. End of day. Troops are resupplied. Continue. Okay. So now we can deploy. So... All right. So now that these guys are linked up, we can actually deploy Beauregard's troops wherever we want. So I think it'll be easier if we deploy... Stuart also apparently has rallied his men, maybe? But let's deploy Cooper's men in a single line over here to the left. We'll put Stuart off there as well. And then we're going to put Kemper. Pond's division here on their flank. And then let's see if we can bring Walton's boys up. In the single line. To get them in behind, perhaps. Frost division will act as a reserve, I think, just in case. And then Van Dorn, I want to bring your cavalry forward, but as well. We'll do them in successive lines out here on the flank. I'm going to have them move up this roadway here and see if they can get in behind the enemy. Okay. And then Magruder's division apparently is fragmented. We'll have them be a reserve behind these troops. And then PGT will deploy, I think, on the right. Okay, so not going to bother with trenches. Cooper's going to go on the offensive, move his division forward to engage the enemy in a straight up assault. Once he's in position, then we'll move Pond to hit the enemy flank. Walton's going to try and close the door on them and get in behind them. And then Van Dorn is going to ride all the way up here to Eli's Ford. So, oh, and I forgot about Walker's artillery, which is now too late to redeploy. All right. So it's 6 in the morning. Sun's just coming up. And we've ordered a assault by our troops. The boys are in a pretty battle line. They're going to move forward. Cooper, sir, move your division forward. One of these is, I believe McCullough's brigade here is the Stonewall Brigade, but Stonewall was killed, or not killed, wounded. Federals have a fair bit of cavalry back here. They're a little bit short on infantry. Let's also just order you to halt. The artillery would make a good, just bombard while these guys move forward. Some of the commands are a little bit silly with the way that like artillery follows to, you know, form up with infantry there. Ooh, that was a rough shell. Landed right amidst our lines. So here they go, moving forward. The artillery's hitting us. And is Van Dorn moving yet? Not yet. Neither is Walton. I guess that's because Beauregard's all the way back here. So I don't understand. I guess if I had ordered the entire army forward first and then fine-tune the division locations, that would have been probably a better approach. All right, these guys are not moving forward evenly. These guys on the road are obviously moving forward more quickly. The guys in the woods are in a bit of a rougher spot. Okay, so how about you open your volleys up on the enemy here? You're taking pretty heavy artillery fire. God damn it. Beauregard's orders are going to take fucking ever to arrive. These other brigades are regiments or brigades are moving forward so goddamn slowly. Okay. Out that detachment, take those guns. Meanwhile, the other troops are moving forward here slowly. Stuart's broken again? Did anyone even shoot at him? He didn't lose any casualties. All right, Van Dorn's boys are moving. I think Breckinridge is going to break. Just losing too many men. These guys must have rifles, 2nd Brigade shooting at them or something. All right, go charge. Just look at all this. First battle, flanking fire, under artillery fire, enemy behind cover, outflanked. Like, this is not a recipe for success. Pull Huger's brigade forward here out of the reserve. Melee, I don't understand. What the fuck? They surrendered to a battery of artillery? What the fuck? Fucking assholes. 1,700 men just surrendered to a goddamn battery of artillery. Those pieces of shit. Melee mechanics in this are weird, as well as the surrender mechanics. We've got men to spare, but that changes the calculus in this battle quite a lot. Fucking bastards. Let's see if McCullough surrenders to a battery of artillery. Looks like Crook's detachment still got routed. This is the this is the Stonewall Brigade charging forward here. They also happen to have Lee Enfields. Hamilton's been driven off. Take those guns. All right, so the Iron Brigade, or not the Iron Brigade. I keep saying the Iron Brigade. The Stonewall Brigade did its goddamn job. We've engaged the main enemy line, so let's move Pond's division forward here on their flank. Probably should have started moving him sooner, given they've got to move through some pretty tough terrain. Stewart's withdrawn. Meanwhile, the other divisions under Beauregard are moving to the enemy rear. Van Dorn is moving way out there. So we now have our lead elements of this attack moving in. Everybody's behind cover. So far, we've lost 2,400 men. The enemy's lost 600. And we have 444 men who left the field. That's all of their artillery is getting whipped. Can I just order you individually to start moving right away? Still wait for orders. Although maybe just from your division commander? Alright, well, it's one brigade basically versus a much larger force. Probably gonna get this division shot up. Couple boys. Given some good work. We've also got Huger's boys in here volleying away. Then then French's brigade is coming up on the flank. Hans' division is now moving. Toward the enemy flank. Virginia is... What did Garnett lose men to? Artillery fire? Okay. Van Dorn's moving way off to the north. And Walton's division's moving in behind the enemy. Ponder's division is moving forward. I'm gonna go ahead and have Magruder move also on the flank. Culla's probably gonna be driven back. Butcher's gonna butcher. Goddamn right we are. My boys, this is the American Civil War. It is a war designed for butchers. Alright, so far, Johnson's lost about 2,500 men. Now, to be fair, about 2,000 of those surrendered. So we actually just drove back the 1st Brigade. Their morale must not be very high, because several other brigades are pulling back. Doesn't feel like we should be winning against some of these guys in this terrain, but I guess most of our troops, well, some of our troops are actually fighting their first battles. Not all of them, though. You can have more than one disgraced General White. No limitation on that. But it doesn't seem like Pon's troops are going to get into place soon enough. James Longstreet, old Pete's coming on up on the flank. Artillery's withdrawing up the road. I don't think some of these guys are going to get in position soon enough. Alright, Van Dorn, move your boys up. Alright, so we are ticking toward a minor victory. 14% of the enemy force is now casualties. A 22% for a major. Guys to charge a really long distance on the flank. See what they do. See how quickly they get wounded. The interesting thing is, while movement orders take a while to occur, charge orders seem to happen pretty much instantaneously. French's brigade's losing pretty good. They're grouped up in kind of more open terrain. They drove that detachment back. Cooper's division's doing a lot of the work here. Cooper's morale is not very good. So as they're rested, they've been charging in good ways. Kirby Smith's boys are winded. Okay, Longstreet's cohesion is failing. Then again, the enemy's withdrawing. Okay, Longstreet's engaged in a melee with these enemy troops. We can knock out 1,600 Federals, force them to surrender. That would be a pretty big fucking deal. That would probably get us to the 22% required for a decisive victory. We're close. Meanwhile, the whole enemy force is withdrawing north. But now we've got Richard Ewell's boys in here. In position in the north. I didn't quite get my troops there in time. Interestingly, a fair number of the enemy troops haven't been too heavily engaged. Second Brigade did not surrender. They're just pulling back. And he's retreating. 18%. So we have an hour to pursue. They're winded. Yeah, I'm not gonna get to these boys in time. Ewell did kind of block the road, though. I feel like pursuit casualties need to be a bigger thing in this game, because like we've in theory pinned these guys with no road to retreat on, but it's not gonna really matter. Okay, so we'll go times 10. There's just not a lot to do right now. They're going to retreat to the left. Fragmented. Okay, so we won a victory. There you go. Minor Confederate victory. We lost about 3,000 men. That's because we had one of our brigades surrender. So that's kind of the little trickster there. 3,000. We lost 1,000 more than the Federals. Obviously, as a percentage, however, they lost over 20% of their infantry. We lost less than, well, a little bit more than 10% of our own. We did lose 125 cavalry. That was mostly Stuart's boys. One gun out of 58. The enemy lost every single one of their guns. And so 3,100 to 2,300 casualties favoring the Federals. But in terms of battlefield losses, much higher on their own end if you exclude the surrendered prisoners. Nonetheless, a victory, a victory, a victory. The Battle of Fredericksburg ended with a Confederate minor victory, turning back George G. McClellan, or the Little Mac's Army of the Ohio. Colonel Smith has become famous and is an inspiration for his men. Okay. Did we get any rifles? Let's see. How many of the boys dropped their rifles? The Department of the Ohio is fleeing in panic. Let's see what it says. The Battle of Fredericksburg has ended with the Department of Ohio retreating in panic. My command has earned us a remarkable strategic victory, with the enemy forced to give ground. The enemy has reportedly suffered a total of 2,300 casualties, 261 killed, 473 captured. Morale is believed to be stable. Our casualties totaled 3,185 men, 191 killed, 2,172 missing, the rest wounded. We have captured 1,553 rifles and 5 guns from the battlefield. So the Army of the Shenandoah won that victory. And there you go. Department of the Ohio still has about 9,000 men with them. Meanwhile, we're low on food. High officer casualties? Ooh. No one was listed as wounded, as far as I could tell. Okay. Meanwhile, we did lose that one brigade. Was it McCullough? Who was it? Breckinridge? Oh, Breckinridge is wounded because he's a frickin' prisoner. 295 of the men made it out. North Carolina boys, we're going to merge you. With who? You got Springfields. Mixed. I mean, do I merge them with Virginia boys? Can we give them to McCullough? Because it would be nice. He has better weapons, though. Hey, we can. Free weapons. Also, you're now Virginians. Oh, there you go. All right. Stuart is defamed, by the way. You can see he's got great leadership, administration, and cunning, but his fame is not in great shape. He is defamed. Meanwhile, Pond is like unknown. Who's this guy? Why is he a division commander? He's also only a colonel. James Longstreet. Maybe we give Longstreet that division. His fame is much better. Let's replace Longstreet with Robert E. Lee. No. Who the hell is this guy? Goody Brian? Bushrod Johnson. You'll get Longstreet's brigade. And then Longstreet, you're going to get Pond's division. Colonel Longstreet, commanding a division of the Army of the Shenandoah. Not actually a brigadier general yet. Meanwhile, Colonel Samuel Cooper, should we promote him? Okay. We'll keep his rank actually as is. Hey, not Canadian guy. Greetings from Canada, indeed. All right, so James Longstreet has been promoted to division command. How are our officers, by the way? Like, do we have any idea how long Jackson's gonna be out? I don't care about that. Thomas Jackson wounded. Till when? I wish this game told you. Doesn't give me any indication on when he's going to return. All right. Anyway. I don't have the supplies to push forward, so we're going to leave this as is. And I guess we'll just start moving forward and see what the enemy does. Keep our units here at Fredericksburg. For the time being, anyway. Okay. I need better cavalry weapons, by the way. No sign of any push south in the west. I think the Department of Northeastern Virginia just withdrew. The Department of Ohio is still sitting, and they're replacing their casualties slowly. My own armies are getting their losses replaced. Hey, Brown. All right, let's take a look on August 28th when the sun comes up. I think we're almost ready. The Army of Shenandoah's readiness has crossed over into green. And the Army of Northern Virginia under Beauregard, not quite there yet. Union is getting 3-year contracts. Dear God. The Army of the Susquehanna is moving south on us. 15,000 men. All right, Johnson's still waiting on that artillery. That'll actually arrive tomorrow. 4 and 3. So Cooper's division has 1,500, about 4,000 men. Longstreet's division has closer to 6,500. Meanwhile, Beauregard's force is still not ready to fight, or so he claims. We have sufficient weapons, or have sufficient subsidies set aside to get Austrian rifles, so we could import stuff. How are we doing on our own production weapons, actually, at the moment? So if we go to military, we go to weapons, we are working on Fayetteville and Richmond rifles. We can see that we have weapons being produced, and they will be ready in about 39 days. So we'll have 30,000 high-quality rifles to replace some of the obsolete stuff in our ranks. Meanwhile, we can get the Lorenz. By the way, I don't know if you're here new. I'm confused where you said the needle gun didn't exist yet by this stage, because the original needle gun had its roots in like the 1840s, but I know the mass production of sort of the more advanced one didn't come until later. Anyway. Could unlock Parrott rifles as well, or almost, not quite. Okay. French weapons, the Minier. I'm tempted to do the Austrian Rifles rather than wait for the British ones as much as I want the Lee Enfields. I think getting the... Let's actually just take a look. Assignable only. What's available right now? Send envoys. What does that do for diplomacy? Finance diplomatic envoys who will be sent to Europe to advance our nation's cause abroad, increasing foreign support and positively influencing any decisions to intervene in the conflict. Okay. And then trade deals, which we've already done, I think, one of. Increased profits from foreign trade. The blockade's pretty loose at the moment. That might actually be a better use of resources. But I need weapons. I need rifles. Okay. So if I do this, if we go with the Austrian, or if we go with the Austrian weapons, and then I go to our weapons screen and do import available, the Augustin rifle musket, I believe, is an obsolete model. 1842 Augustin 2-block smoothbore, later rifled, sighted, and converted to percussion. So these are basically reboard weapons. The Lorenz rifle is an Austrian muzzle-loading rifled musket available for import, reliable and accurate, but without translation manuals, difficult for the Americans to use efficiently. It wasn't really difficult for them to use efficiently. They had actually some soldiers who thought very highly of them. The problem was inconsistent qualities. They had stuff that was made by the Austrian arsenal itself, which was very high quality. They had secondhand weapons that had been used in the wars in Italy, which were battered, not in good shape. And they had private contractors who raced to make licensed versions of it that had very poor quality. So it's kind of a mix. Still, we're going to go ahead and let's increase our volume here. 40 days. 50,000 would be 70 days. But that would basically equip my entire force. Costs a lot of money. 25,000 would be 60 days. So for 12 days, it's less than double. Let's go for the 50,000. Hopefully that all comes through the blockade. So in addition to the 30,000 local stuff, we are buying a shit ton of Lorenz rifles. Now the Confederacy, I believe, imported about 100,000 of them, and the Union imported perhaps as many as 200,000. And I think to some extent the Union imported as many as they did to keep them out of the hands of the Confederates. They should be decent. Mediocre accuracy, not super long range, but certainly better than smoothbores. It's our first import deal, huh? Do we have any breech loaders? We can make sharps? No, we can't. We can't make any Manyards either. Can't make any of those either. We can make some Richmond carbines, a shorter Confederate carbine version of the Springfield rifle musket with a Manyard primer. So this would be ideal for cavalry. But it's going to take for fucking ever to make these things. Okay. All right. Well, I think we're about to have another battle here against the Army of the Susquehanna. I guess I'll just let them come to me. Not really in the mood to go out and get them. Especially since there's, what, 15,000 men here? The Department of the Ohio moves also. They could get 25,000 men. And northeastern Virginia would make it 34,000. So let's just let the enemy come to us if that's what they're doing. Also, I didn't look before we get going here. We did capture 2,000 weapons. What did we capture? We do have a few Sharps carbines. 500 Springfield rifle muskets. 1,200 Springfield muskets, 44,000 mixed muskets. That's just the generic thing everybody gets when you raise a unit. And mixed cavalry weapons. The hell did we even get? I don't even see anything worthwhile that we captured. God, we have so many howitzers. Colt revolving rifle, 400 of them. Take a look at Stuart and see what he has. That might be worth replacing his weapons. Okay. So, Stuart, what are you rocking? Oh, you got the Merrill carbine. That's a pretty decent carbine, I think. What about the other cavalry here? Springfield, Maynard. We should really merge some of these units and build some new cavalry units under Van Dorn. But we'll hold off on doing that for now. Okay, let's let the enemy come to us and we'll probably fight one more battle. They're moving west. They gonna flank me? Like, where are they moving? That's silly. Why is that blue? That would not be blue. All right, so actually we're still in range. The Shenandoah. All right, everybody. I think that's going to do it for this episode of Grand Tactician, the Civil War. We fought one battle near Fredericksburg. We helped turn the tide against the Northerners' advance, but they did try and flank us, I guess, again near Gordonsville. Or, well, I think that's the map we're going to be fighting on in any event, to the west of Fredericksburg. But that will be fought in another episode. We're about at an hour here, so we'll wrap this one up. I hope you guys did enjoy our look at Grand Tactician, the Civil War, yet another look at Grand Tactician, the Civil War. Hopefully we've turned the tide and we'll be able to win another victory against a fragmented Union force and then perhaps advance into Northern Virginia once again. But until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying once again, thank you very much for watching, as always, and until next time, I'm out.